The 8th of September, Rabbi Furst, Pierke Avos, Shari Tshuva.
Good morning again. This is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here, Yeshiva Tzalman here in Shlom Care of Zoom. This is our first year in the morning. We'll learn Shari Tshuva in the first Shar Sif A. The Rabbeinu Yonah quotes a pasuk in Yirmiyah. You see it there in Ralua. It should be on page 6 if we have the same edition.
Yeah, bottom page 6.
Yeah, so there it says, Rabbeinu Yonah is continuing to speak about the horrendousness of not doing tshuva. It's one thing that a person transgressed, and it's a completely different thing that he's not doing tshuva for, right? So we discussed yesterday the ramifications of that it makes things compounds his crime, right? In other ways, in other dimensions, and not only that, now it also is an opening, an opportunity for the sin, as Rabbi Yonah is going to explain to us, that the sin becomes, in his eyes, a permissible thing to do. Once he's done it and he has not regretted and considered the wrongness of what he did, so he's ready and willing to go ahead and do it again. That's based on the pasuk in Yirmiyah, that there's seemingly a dangling preposition over here, betuchal, and you're able. So be'er betuchal, the explanation of the word betuchal means, as Roy just read for us, right? Ki harois nasas lach keheter. Those things which you did wrong are becoming to you like they're permissible. So kadavar shu icholte v'shusek. It's like there's something which is in your realm of possibilities and jurisdiction. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was the first point, right?
First point.
You hear me?
What do you mean by the first point, Lou?
Well, hey begins with Hashenis. So I'm saying so what we just did was you reviewed the previous point, which was the first point, right? And now we're on the second one.
The first point was that not doing tshuva makes the sin easier to do again.
Right.
Now, the second point about not doing tshuva is as follows.
So Hashenis, the second point, ki hashoneh v'cheto tishuv aso kasha. What is a shoneh?
He repeats. Shon is to repeat.
Oh, to repeat. Okay, so to repeat the sin, once the sin has been repeated, the tshuva, to do tshuva is more difficult. Ki na'asa lo hachet beheter. Because he does the sin now with permission. Uvazeh kavda ma'od chatao, and this increases the weight of the sin very much.
Right. The sin becomes very serious now.
Right. Kamo Shne'emar, as it is stated in Yirmiyahu, Hine Dibarta v'ta'aseh ha'raos v'tuchal. He speaks and he does evil. What is this v'tuchal?
And that's what he's going to explain with this with tuchal. This tuchal is like a dangling preposition. It's something. It's like hanging off in the end there. What it's supposed to mean, he explains. Tuchal literally means he has the potential. He's able.
Okay. But Beur v'tuchal. What's Beur?
Let's see. We had it a few times before. You see the last words in the previous paragraph. Kasher baranu.
Yes, we said it as explained.
Right.
So we will explain what this word tuchal means.
Correct. That's right.
Haraos naasos lach. When evil is done to you, haraos, when evil is done to you, ke heter, like
Yeah.
it's permitted.
I mean, you read it together. Ki haraos naselach keheter. Those things which are evil are done by you as if they are permissible.
As if they're permissible. Uche davar shehu bichal teich. And it's a matter of possibilities. Uvir shu seich, and permissibilities.
It's kedavar shu bichal teich, which is sake. It's as if it's something which is within your abilities and within your jurisdiction.
Right. It's been transformed. This evil thing has been transformed into something that is permissible, and you're able to do it.
Right. Since he did something wrong and never did tshuva, this is the point he's trying to bring out. By doing tshuva, you're putting a break on this situation that developed into a situation of doing a sin. But without doing tshuva, there's no break, and it'll just continue, and the situation will arise again, and there's nothing to stop you from doing the same criminal act again.
My English says it has become within your rights. In other words, in your mind, you think it's within your rights. Milashon. What? What'd you say, Rabbi?
No, Mayor's on the phone. Go to my link. Okay, that link from Lou is obsolete now. Yeah, that's not we're not using that link anymore. So if you try, you have the link that I sent you, I think last week.
I can send it to him again if you want.
Okay, Lou can send it to you again fresh. He'll send it to you if you want. Okay, then you should get. He has okay, Mayor has the link. Okay.
He has it?
Yeah. Hope to see you. Okay. Thank you for calling. Okay, very good. Bye. Okay, yeah, sorry for the interruption. Yeah, okay.
No problem.
Good morning, Elliot.
Boker Tov.
Okay,
Sorry.
Morning, sir.
Yeah. We're in the Shai Tshuva, the first start in the middle of paragraph 8, starting with the word shenis.
Yep.
He's describing Oh, good morning, Mayor. There we are.
Hi, Maya.
Okay. Good. We're
I hear
again in
you,
Shai
Mayor.
Tshuva. We're in Shai Tshuva in the first chart, Sif Hay, which is the bottom of page 6, if you have the same edition as I have. And Rabbeinu Yonah is going into a second reason why, if a person doesn't do tshuva, it's in this case it makes this the seriousness of doing tshuva becomes very difficult, because once he's done something wrong and has not done tshuva, so the opportunity for him to repeat the sin becomes easier, and it's not only becoming something that he's doing which is wrong, but it's actually going to become in his eyes as if it's something which is permissible, because he never did tshuva in the first place. And so he's just reinforcing his newly gained perspective on this particular action, that there's nothing wrong with it. Because had he really understood and felt that there was something wrong with what he did, he would have done tshuva. But the fact that he didn't do tshuva now is opening the door for him to take an attitude towards this wrongdoing, this transgression, to believe that it's actually a permissible act. And therefore, once it becomes in his eyes a permissible act, it's going to be very difficult to do tshuva. Very difficult to correct tshuva, and a person thinks he's doing the right thing.
Thank you.
Okay, so as it is stated, lo suchal le'echol bish arecha, you're not able to eat in your gates or within your gates. Shit targumo, as it is translated, leis lach. There is not for you rashu, permission. You're not permitted. So what is this saying now? I thought we were saying the opposite, that you would think that you are permitted.
Yeah, what is the proof from what he's saying here? Right, it says Meloshe lo suchal, that he wants to prove, he's explaining now what this in this pasuk in Yirmiyah, that last word, but tuchal, right? That is explained. Rabbeinu is explaining that the transgressions become to him like it's in his ability and his permission to do something with that. And he's explaining the word tuchal now, that it's becoming, and based on the fact tuchal, that lo tuchal le'echol b'sharecha, Targum, what's the word that the Targum translates the word tuchal as, right, as rashu. Rashu tuchal is a permissibility, right? So
Why does it say lace?
it's because the pasuk says lo sucha le'echol b'sharech. You're not permitted to eat within the gates. You're not permitted to eat within the gates.
So lo tuchal is like lace rashu.
Exactly right.
Okay, got it.
Lace means not to. Lace look. There is not to you pursue permission.
Amru Rabosenu zichronam livracha, and our sages of blessed memory said, Kevan she'avar Adam avera v'shana ba. Since when he sins a sin, when a man sins a sin, and Shana is a year.
Every,
He does it again. He repeats it. Sean, he repeats it.
right.
Oh, and he repeats it.
Right. This for the word we say the word in the Shema Vishinantan, the Venecher, Vidibartaban, Vishinantam.
Right?
It is like you should repeat it. You should say it over to your sons.
Ah, right. Shinantam. Naases lo te heter. It becomes for him like it's permitted.
Right. Once he's done it once, now he's done it the second time. So now it's going to become in his eyes. He has a perspective about this behavior, this act, that it's something which is permissible.
V'amru v'rabosenu zichronam livracha, and it's said by our sages of blessed memory, al ish she'avar avera v'shana ba, concerning a man that sins a sin and repeats it, ki mikan ve'elech im yachshov la'asos ha'avera v'ne'enas v'lo asa'ah. Because from here and onward, if he returns to do the sin, what is v'ne'enas?
Vene'enas, meaning he'll be prevented from doing it. Well, venenas velo asa. He's by some chance he's not able to do it. Meaning, meaning once a person has done an avera once and then repeated it again, from that time onward, if he thinks about doing that avera, and then I said he's not able to do it, say he's not able to do it. That his bad thought of doing the transgression is considered as if he did it. Just by thinking about it, he gets credit as if he actually did the sin.
Oh, the thought is combined with the action, or the
Right,
thought is
it's
combined with the evil.
Yeah.
Va'alav ne'amar, and concerning this, it is stated, Hine anochi mevi ra'a el ha'am hazeh kli machshevosam. Behold, I bring evil to the nation, to this nation, the fruit of their thoughts.
Right. So what does it mean, the fruit of their thoughts? Thoughts usually, are static in the mind. But here, since they've been habituated to doing these things, so simply now by thinking about it, it's considered to be as if they actually did it. And it was only by chance that they weren't able to do it. They planned to do it, but for some chance, something happened that they couldn't do it. Therefore, they get credit as if they actually did the sin.
So this is a change of the normal procedure, which would be that if you think something but you don't do it, you are not credited with having done it.
Right.
Mhm.
Good.
Okay. Weiter?
Yes.
Okay, so we're on Vav now on page 8.
Correct.
Vata bina shim'a zos. And we need to hear this with understanding. Ki hu ikar gadol, because it is a great principle. Emes hadavar ki yesh min hatzadikim shenich shalim bechet meme. Truly, it is a true thing that that the righteous can stumble in a sin before them. Well, sometimes.
And it'll happen, even the ain't sadik parts also below, yeah, that's what the pasuk is going to quote that pasuk in a minute. And the meaning is, as righteous as a person is going to be, there sometimes the Yetzirah simply overcomes him, and for some reason or other, he does something which is wrong.
Right. Ke'inyan shene'amar, like it is discussed in Koheles, ki adam ein tzaddik ba'aretz asher ya'aseh tov v'lo yechetah. Because there is not a righteous person in the land that will do good and not sin.
Right? It'll happen that as righteous as a person will be, there'll be times where he will unfortunately succumb to the Sahara and do a sin.
Achein kovshim es yitzram me'as pam ve'im yiplu b'chet pam achas lo yishnu lo. So therefore, what is this word kovshim?
They conquer. Koivish is Yisro. Koivish es Yisro.
Okay, therefore, he should conquer his inclination 100 times.
Right. I think Koivishim as meaning the tzaddikim, right? Even though that he will from time to time, as good as they are, do something which is wrong. Nevertheless, they are conquering their Yetzirah 100 times. From the one time they do something wrong, they've conquered their Yetzirah 100 times.
Ve'im yiplu b'chet, and if they fall in a sin, pa'amachas, one time, lo yishnu lo, he should not repeat it. V'nakotu bifneihem, and it should be loathsome before oneself. V'choz rim b'tshuva, and he should return in repentance.
Right, meaning if he's going to happen to succumb to the Yetzirah, say one time, he's not going to repeat it, right? And they will definitely do tshuva.
So in other words, the point of this paragraph is to tell us that the point of the previous paragraph is very important, because you're gonna have a problem, even if you're a tzaddik. It's gonna happen on occasion that you're gonna make a mistake, and then you're in danger of falling into this trap of repeating the sin and everything you mentioned above.
Right.
Ach kol asher eino nizhar mechet yadua ve'eno mikabel al nafsho lehishamer mimenu. Only everyone that is not careful concerning sin will know and not receive on himself to listen to it, the hishamer, to guard from it.
Right.
Person who's
Ah.
not careful will not succeed in guarding against doing the sin.
Right, if a person's not going to be careful from a known sin, it's clear to him this is wrong. He's not going to be careful about it, and he's not accepting it upon himself to be careful from it, right? Then what?
Gam im hu me ha avonos hakalim. Then also it will be that the sin will be light. Afal pi, even though shehu nizhar mikol ha veros, even though that nizhar, I forget what nizhar is.
He's careful.
Even though that he's careful regarding all sins that Shabbat that are in the Torah, kirauhu, that are called Chachmei Yisrael, those who are called the wise of Israel. Quoting from Hulin, Mumar Lidavar Echad, somebody who is a heretic in one matter, in one aspect. The es poshim nimna, and he is negligent. His negligence is included.
Well, as poshim nimna, he's nimna meaning he's counted in with. He's in the group of poshim. He's considered a poshim, even if he's careful from all the sins in the Torah except from one thing that he denies. That's called the mumar l'davar echad, and he's as poshim nimna. He's included in those people who are poshim.
And if I have poshim as negligent, is that a good translation?
Well, not exactly. I mean, poshea, a person
English says offenders.
Yeah, it's poshim.
If you're poshea, it's I've seen it translated as willful sinner.
Poshea is he's a negligent. How he's using here poshim nimna. Poshim nimna. 1 second. 1 second. Let's continue. I'll see if I could find a more accurate way to understand how it's used in this context here. Let's continue on in the meantime.
Okay, should I go on?
Yeah.
Okay, v'gadol avono minaseh, and his sin is great. It's too great to forgive.
Right.
Too great.
No.
Ki im amor yomar ha'eved l'rabo. Because if saying, if he says, if a servant of ha'eved is a servant,
Yes,
so if he says that his servant says, the rabo is to increase.
so his rabbi is his master. If a servant will say to his master,
Oh, his master, to his master. Kol asher tomar elai e'aseh. Everything that you tell me to do, I will do. Zulasi, except devar echad, except one thing. Kavar shavar ol ado nav me alav. He has already thrown off the yoke of his master.
yes, that's right.
So even if he says, "I'll do everything except one thing," nevertheless, he's considered to be that he's thrown off the yoke.
Right.
That seems surprising to me, because I learned one time that I think it was in Chulin, about talking about somebody who sins in one matter, and it's not a rebellion. It's a giving into his taiva. We don't call him a heretic.
Right.
And I think the example was that you could trust his shechita. You could consider an
Right.
animal that he shechted to be kosher, even
Right.
though you know that he sins. Like, so I think the example was that he eats. You know that he goes into McDonald's every now and then and has a cheeseburger.
Right, because in that case, he's sitting for his own benefit, for his own taiva, his own pleasure.
Right,
He has enough respect not to cause other people to sin. Right.
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 You can
So
trust.
so he can be trusted to a certain extent. But if a person says that he believes in everything except one thing, it's not a question of he's doing this because of his desire for pleasure of something in this world. When he says he'll do everything except one thing, so he's taking a philosophical stance that he says, well, I'm the one who can decide what's right and wrong here, right? So therefore, if he does it for one thing, he can do it for anything. So therefore, as long as because once he's decided that the commandments, the Torah is not coming as a direct command to him personally from a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and therefore he has the right to change things as he sees fit, right? So that makes him a full-fledged heretic. That's the heretic is someone whose beliefs and philosophies are different than ours, and the primary belief that we have is that the Torah was given by Kadosh Baruch Hu. So if you really believe that, you don't start sticking your own 2 cents into what you're going to do and you're not going to do, right?
Right. I hear the difference, but it's still a little surprising to me that he does everything, so many things that he follows,
Right.
in one thing, he says, I'm not doing that. It's surprising that you say you throw out the whole person.
Right, because that one thing that he's not doing is revealing his true feelings and understanding and belief system. His belief system is based on the fact that he's in charge, right? I'll do everything except one thing.
Yeah.
Who says you can? Who says you can? You're the one to choose that you can do everything except one thing. Because he believes he has the right to do everything except one thing. So once he believes that, he's kofer. He's a disbeliever. He's an apostate.
Right. Okay. V'hayashar be'nav ya'aseh. And hayashar, it is considered to be straight in his eyes to do this.
Right, correct. Meaning he's picking to do everything except this one thing, because that one thing, it's yashar, it's correct in his eyes not to do that one thing.
Right. Va'al ha'inyan hazeh ne'amar, concerning this matter is stated in Devarim, arur asher lo yakim es divrei haTorah hazos la'asos osam. Cursed is the one that does not fulfill the words of this Torah to do them. Be'uro asher lo yikabel al nafsho lekayem kol divrei haTorah, meaning, it means that he does not accept on himself to establish all of the words of the Torah, Meirosh va'ad sof, from the beginning to the end. Vayoreh al zeh amru, and it's taught concerning this that they said, Asher lo yakim la'asos velo amar asher lo ya'aseh osam. It's taught concerning this that they said that he does not establish to do, and he does not say that he will not do this. Them.
Right. So it says when the pasuk says, since he's doing since he's picking what's correct in his eyes to do or not to do, even if it's just one thing. So it's what this is exactly what the pasuk is saying. Or he's cursed. Lo yakim es divrei Torah azos la'asos samsam. He's cursed, the one who's not accepting upon himself to do the words of this Torah, and to accept upon himself and to do these things. Bear with the explanation, which means Asher lo yikabel al nashlo, he's not accepting upon himself the kaim kol divrei Torah merosh ad sof, to accept each and everything of the Torah from the beginning to the end. Right. V'yoreh al zeh amru, and the explanation of this, Asher lo yakim lasos. What does it mean? He's not getting up to do. Lo amar asher lo asosam. It said he's lo yakim lasos. He's not establishing these things to be done. Right? It doesn't say that he's not doing it. He's not establishing these things to be done. Rather than not, it didn't say that he's not doing them. Doing them is one thing, but Yokim is establishing these things to be done. I mean, that's within his own self. He has to have a true and absolute acceptance of the commandments of the Torah, from, as we said, from the beginning and to the end, without exception. Okay. Fine. All right. Maybe that gives a good point to stop here. Continue next week, Mitzvah Shem. Okay.
Tomorrow is Friday.
Yeah, tomorrow's Rosh Hashanah, so 9:30 tomorrow. If you want to join me for the Chumash, we'll speak a little bit about the Parsha Shavua, and we'll continue in a few minutes with the Shir Mishnah Berurah, Mitzvah Shem.
Okay.
All right.